Hey, sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. For most of the vintage era of baseball cards, 1948 to 1980, Topps and Bowman to some extent primarily used portrait images of players, or they had them in a certain pose. But it really wasn't until the 1970s did Topps start incorporating some really cool action shots into their cards. Recently, a follower of the channel suggested that I do a video on some of the top action cards out there in the hobby. And rather than trying to think of all the different great action shot cards, I decided to do a top 25 action card list of cards from my personal collection. Now, would love to know in the comments, what are some of your favorite action shot cards? Now, they don't necessarily have to be cards that you have in your collection. And if you collect beyond baseball cards, feel free to mention some great action shot football, basketball, and hockey cards that, again, either you have in your collection or ones that you know of. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show off my top 25 favorite action cards in my collection. Okay, rather than try to rank these 25 cards from 25 up to my favorite action shot, I made things a little bit easier for myself, and I'm just going to do these in a chronological order. I'll try not to spend too much time on each card. I don't want this video to last too long, but I think you'll see that a lot of these cards have some great action images. And the first one is, I think it would be on most collectors' lists for a great action shot, and that is the 1953 Bowman color Pee Wee Reese. I don't think anyone can doubt the great action image there of Pee Wee Reese jumping up in the air. Some people say that it may have sort of been staged, that it's not actual part of an actual game, but it's still a great looking card. Next is my 1965 World Series card, Mantle's Clutch Home Run. Now, it's more of an artist rendition. It doesn't quite look like an actual photograph used, but it's still a cool action shot there of Mickey Mantle swinging and hitting a home run there. Next, I'm sure would be on some most collectors, maybe top 10 list or whatever, is the 1971 Topps Thurman Munson. Such a iconic action shot. That Rookie Cup card, Munson's second year card, just a great play at the plate there. Next, I chose the 1972 Topps in Action. I think this was Topps's really first attempt at really trying to include some action shots into their sets. Prior to 1972, you had some that you could call action shots, but Topps really made an effort in 72 to include some great action shots. Unfortunately, this is my only in action card, and it's of Corey Yastrzemski. Next, we move on to 1973, and this great Johnny Bench card of him hopefully catching the ball. I don't know if he actually caught it. It looks like he has a good handle on it. It's almost in his catcher's mitt there, but also running into the, looks to be opponent's dugout. Great shot there. All right, on to the next five. We're moving on to 1974 Topps, and this great Tom Seaver action shot of that follow through. I actually have a few Tom Seavers on my list. Topps did a really good job of capturing Seaver's pitching motion. But there's his 1974. Also in 74, you have this great Carlton Fisk action shot here of him getting ready to receive the ball at home plate to hopefully tag out the runner. Then we move on to 1976. It's somewhat of an action shot, another Corey Yastrzemski card, but just showing that follow through. Let's see, but there we go. We can focus it. Just showing his follow through there. Could be maybe a home run to right center field, or at least a long fly ball. But I always thought this was a cool Corey Yastrzemski card. Keeping with 1976, it's Johnny Bench action card. Now, it's not, it's almost after, it almost looks like after the action took place, but you got the whole dust up there of the dirt, that there must have been some play that just took place at home plate. I would consider this an action card and a really cool Johnny Bench card. Next, keeping with 1976, I just love this action shot of Jim Palmer's pitching motion. If you're not familiar with Jim Palmer's pitching motion, he had a real up and down arm motion. He really went over the top and then straight down for his pitching motion. And this just pictures it perfectly. All right, moving on. Let's move some of these back here. Moving on to 1977 Topps. Another Tom Seaver. Almost at the start of his windup and delivery. But you can just see the power that he had in his legs. Obviously, he got that low follow through where his knee even touched the dirt. And this was the start of that pitching motion. Next, we have another Jim Palmer, and this gives you a little bit better picture of that up and down pitching motion that he had. He'd start his hand really far back, and then as he planted his left foot there, he would just go straight over the top toward home plate. Really like that shot of Jim Palmer. Next, another Carlton Fisk, keeping with 1977. This great play at the plate. I'm not sure why this isn't focusing here. There we go. A great action shot at home plate. Moving on to 1978, one of my favorite vintage cards in my collection. Very popular card from 1978. Yes, it's the Reggie Jackson. Man, such a powerful swing there. His left knee's almost touching the ground. Don't know if he actually made contact. He obviously was known for, I think he may be the career leader in strikeouts for a batter. But not sure if he made connection here, but if he did, I'm sure he hit that ball a ton. Moving on to 1979, another Tom Seaver. It's a different angle. It's from the back. There we go. And again, just shows that great pitching motion, or iconic pitching motion that Tom Seaver had. Very unique. Next one. This one may not be in the mind of most collectors, but again, as I was going through my collection, this one just jumped out at me, and it's the 1979 Goose Gossage card. Checked out that follow through. I mean, he looks so unbalanced after he makes the throw. I don't know where he landed. I don't know if his right leg then would end up following through, but just thought that was a great action shot there. Next, another Carlton Fisk, but this time with him batting. Sort of a follow through, almost like he slapped a base hit past the second baseman or something like that. But and him breaking out of the batter's box toward first base. Just always like this Carlton Fisk card. So some of these may be not ones that you would think of great action shots, but again, would love your opinion on which ones you think are your favorite. Moving on to 1980. Here's a dual action card. We have the 1979 highlights featuring, there we go, Lou Brock and Kari Yastrzemski, both reaching the 3,000 hit mark. But you got Lou Brock there after he made contact, running to first base, and of course that cool follow-through shot there of Yastrzemski. Then we have Gary Carter and his play at the plate. You can see he does have the ball in his glove. I don't know if he's trying to look at the ump to say that I got him or what, but just a cool action shot there. Next, we have another 1980. I decided to include this one in here. There were some that I actually, when I started pulling cards, I pulled a few more than 25 and had to whittle some down, but I kept this one in here. Just that follow through there image of Johnny Bench. The next one here, and this is because this pitcher had a very somewhat unique delivery. And if you know what this delivery is, you can tell that he's getting ready to wind up and pitch this way. It's the 1980 Dennis Eckersley. And, you know, he sort of had like a sidearm, not quite underarm, but like a sidearm whipping delivery. And he really got that left leg up and then just twisted his body and came almost like sort of sidearm. And again, if you're familiar with his pitching motion, you can tell that he's just ready to wind up and deliver that. I thought that was a cool Dennis Eckersley card. Then from 1980, yes, you have this great Nolan Ryan image. Just getting ready to fire another fastball into home plate. Then I went with another Reggie Jackson, not as good in my opinion as his 78, but here's his 1980. There we go. He just had a monstrous swing. Reggie Jackson never held back when deciding to swing at a ball. Then I have two more here. Moving on to 1983. I know this is getting a little just beyond the vintage period, but it's a card that I have, a graded card I have in my collection. Another Tom Seaver, but this one is you're almost looking straight at him, and you can tell just not just how low. I mean, his right bottom leg there and knee like scrapes the pitching mound. I'm not sure if there are any other pitchers that were known for getting that low to the ground when they made their delivery. We'll have to know in the comments if you know of another pitcher that had that same pitching motion and how low Tom Seaver got to the mound. And finally, I had to include this card. Again, it's not a vintage card, but it is probably my favorite Wade Boggs card, and that's his 1984 Topps card. Just love that follow through. I mean, he has some other great action, swinging images on cards, but again, I just love this 1984 Topps card and that follow through there where it looks like he's looking at a ball that's probably going to bounce off the green monster. So there you go. Those are my top 25 action shot cards that I have in my collection. And again, would love to know in the comments what are some of your great action shot sports cards. And with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.